Okay, so another super highly anticipated motorcycle, Mark, for the Intermot show is the Indian FTR1200 motorcycle. Brand new in. Obviously Indian have been really dominating the flat tracking scene for quite some time now, and this is really taking a lot of the styling cues, a lot of the inspiration from that scene and bring it into a proper motorcycle that just looks the dogs for me. I love it.
It does. I think it's probably fair to say it's not a quintessential flat tracker, but it is. It's been a hugely anticipated motorcycle. And quite a long time in coming, to be fair. There's been a lot of talk, a lot of rumour, a lot of speculation in the press about what we were actually going to get. And in fairness, they've remained fairly true to the concept. There's an FTR750 race bike over there, and what they've deliberately done is placed one of these next to it. And you've got to say the silhouette. It looks so similar. There are a huge number of similarities.
Yeah.
The other thing that strikes me, which I think is hugely important, is it does look like a true production bike.
Yes.
It looks really well finished. And I had some misgivings about that. This is a big step away from what Indian normally do.
Yeah.
We all know what they do. In fairness, they've done a great job in the UK, particularly with the Scout Bobber. They are very successful bikes, and they've been able to build on that in the UK market. But this is a hugely important bike in terms of cracking UK and Europe in a much more significant way. And I've got to say, they've made a great job of it.
I think they have too. I mean, it's a beautiful bike. It's a 1200cc, it's 120 horsepower.
Yeah, which again, it's going to be really interesting to see how it compares when they stand it up against the equivalent bikes in the market. Starts at 11,500, I think, for the standard bike. This is the S version.
Yeah, okay. So it comes with a bit more money.
So I think we were talking. It's got digital display,
TFT display. It's got Bluetooth connectivity,
and a USB connection.
And a USB connection, which is just absolutely awesome.
Well, it's a modern bike.
It's a super modern bike.
But yeah, I mean,
it's got traction control, switchable traction control. It's got ABS brakes.
Yeah.
It's got Brembo brakes. So it's a bit of a lump, this bike. I mean, it's 220 kilos, 220 odd kilos. So it needs decent brakes, and I think he's going to live up to it with the.
Well, it's not the lightest bike in that kind of segment. I mean, it's difficult to place. Is it a middleweight? Is it a super naked? It's probably somewhere in the middle of those. At 220 kilos, it's on the heavier side. But you know that this motor's going to produce.
The centre of gravity is nice and low, isn't it? But you can tell that.
Well, the great thing with these kind of lumpy motors is it will make monster torque. Although the horsepower figure is actually quite a lot higher than I was expecting it to be.
Is it?
I've got to be honest. 120 sounds pretty juicy.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I'm kind of close to salivation at this point. I'd like to have a little play out on these, and I do think the styling is important, and of course it's a crucial part of the appeal of any motorcycle. But when you pit yourself in this market, you're talking about bikes like BMW S1000R, you talk about Aprilia Tuono, you talk about MT09, MT10, R90, Kawasaki Z9, Z1000. That is such a competitive marketplace. So if it rides as well as it looks,
it could do really well.
It could do very, very well.
Do and just as well, while I'm looking at it, they've done such a nice job with the rear end on this bike.
I'm a sucker for this. Just a completely clean-cut rear seat. I mean, the architecture around this, it's very, very difficult to make this look super sexy. But for me, I absolutely love having that.
Yeah, I do.
No rear hugger, no nothing, just a rear light. I mean, I've got to be honest. Euro 4 legislation does mean you end up with a set of rear cans that aren't the sexiest things in the world, but I know, having been around the stand,
I've seen worse.
There is a bike here, I think, with Akrapovic on it, and it does look better just over there. There's going to be a load of aftermarket solutions for that. If somebody looks at that and thinks,
and a nice tail tidy as well on it, Mark.
Well,
new exhaust, nice. Well, yeah, maybe you will, maybe you won't. But imagine if you got rid of that and changed the exhaust.
No touching, by the way, Aaron. We've been told you're not allowed to touch the bike.
Okay. But I think this is a phenomenal machine.
Yeah.
Super excited for this one, and I think it's going to get highly acclaimed, assuming that it rides the way it looks.
Yeah, you're not wrong.